And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I'm just going to turn myself up a little bit in the monitor. If you're watching the video, you can welcome to episode 157 of the show. Don't know the title yet because the title comes naturally. If you're watching this show, and I don't know, you probably aren't. You'll see that I am back in the bed, laying down, not feeling good today. It's not a health thing, so don't worry, I don't got the coronavirus. It's a mental thing. It's where I've been going all day, and I'm just going to let myself feel it until eventually I don't feel it anymore. That sounded very dark. Okay. What's going on in today's world? I got nothing. I don't really have anything to say. I don't have any stories. Let's see. My Center subscription ended. Well, that was a harsh whistle. My Center subscription ended. So I blame Chris Hemsworth for only allowing us to use that for, I believe it was 20 days. It feels like, well, not 20 days. I feel like it was 30 to 50 to 60 days instead of the requisite 90 that everyone else gave us for free apps. But you know what? Center was a good thing. Center is Chris Hemsworth's workout app. And it's it's all trainer led and they're all coached. So it was pretty hardcore, pretty tough. A lot of jumping, a lot of stuff, and a lot of free weight stuff, which is not free weight, excuse me. Well, there's a lot of free weight stuff, but there's a lot of body weight stuff, including the boxing, including the HIIT stuff. And it was great to see that. However, it is $120 a year or $30 a month. And that's insane to pay for a training app when you're already presumably paying for a gym. And even if you're not paying for a gym and you just had, maybe you're lucky enough to have a barbell and you're lucky enough to have some dumbbells and a workout mat in the area, in the garage area or basement area or a room in your house or apartment where you can do all that stuff. But I can guarantee that even if you had that stuff, you're not going to pay $30 a month or $120 a year just to use that. Just use the app because that's insane. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount to pay. But you know what? I enjoyed my time with it. And there we are. I don't have a microphone today. I just have the Zoom and it's pointed at me. And the battery is almost dead. The batteries are almost dead. It runs on 4 AA. I had an interview with Dan Cummins yesterday. Comedian Dan Cummins, and I noticed the batteries were dying, and I changed them. And then I sat down at my desk and recorded as usual. We're on the phone, we're talking. All right, the microphone's hooked up to the Zoom, the phone's hooked up to the Zoom, so I'm talking through the microphone. He can hear me through the Zoom. And then, second question, 5 minutes in, this guy goes, "Hey," I'm not saying this guy isn't like he did in a douchey way. He goes, "Hey, I can't hear you," and I go, "What?" And so for the next 2 minutes, it's me scrambling, going, "Oh God, he can't hear me." Larry heard, like, it's crazy because like Larry was the first interview I did with the Zoom, and then I did Rachel Lee Goldenberg, whose interview will come out today. The time to listen to this, hopefully. I'm halfway done with it, and I've done Dan, and I think that's pretty much it. The 3 I've done with this. And then everything else has been, news time of the Constitutionals. And I know I'm still figuring things out, but Rachel and Larry were good, except there was some clipping in Larry's interview, and there was a lot of clipping in Rachel's interview. And I knew it was due to the Zoom, having the phone hooked up. What I do is I run the phone or the iPad through a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, female, plug in a male 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, run that through to this XLR. This means nothing to nobody. Through this XLR female and plug it into the male and plug it into the female end of the Zoom. All right. And so everything's connected, right? I can still have everything. That's how you hear the theme song. However, the problem is, I should run a timer on this. The problem is that whenever you do like listen to talk to people or anything like that, it becomes an issue because it starts clipping for some reason. I know it has to do with the Zoom. I don't know what it is. Today I have turned on the limiter, so you shouldn't be hearing any buzzing coming from the iPad. There's a natural minus 20 decibel limiter. Thing is that you have to turn it up. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I gotta figure out how to turn the clipping off. Anyway, so hopefully we figure that out, and then I use this software to transcribe the things, and it costs $15 a month. And then I just canceled it, but they still charge me for May. So I got to figure out how to get through 10 hours of transcriptions. So I have to waste $15. So far, I have 20 minutes down with Dan Cummins. Dan was great. That's all I'm saying. All right. This first story, I really hope I sound well enough. I'm listening through these iPhone earbuds instead of my Boses because I've been having trouble with the Boses too. Also, the Boses are too bulky to lay down with. So I hope I sound good, and I'm not going to do it in post-processing. Like I said, I'm in a horrible mood, and I just can't do anything. Maybe it's depression. Who knows? BuzzFeed names Mark Scoffs as editor-in-chief. This comes from WSJ. Like I said, I got the Wall Street Journal for 2 months for like $3, baby, and I'm going to use it. Written by Benjamin Mullen. So BuzzFeed Incorporated has named Mark Scoffs, an alumnus with deep experience in investigative journalism, editor-in-chief of the news unit. I've said this before, I've said this again. I think I will take BuzzFeed more seriously if they change their news division, rather. I'll take it more seriously. If you hear screaming in the background, it's I left Supermarket Sweep on. It's on Amazon. The old it's courtesy of Buzzer, the old game show. I quite enjoy it, and I just left it on in the background. Any Hoosers, I'll take BuzzFeed more seriously if they change the name of the news division to maybe something a little bit more. Vice, they talk about weed all the time, but it still has a good name, Vice. NBC News, I can trust that. To some extent, Fox. No. CNN, there you go. MSNBC. But whenever you come out with something like BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed is synonymous with lists and all this crap, then it's something I can't trust, no matter how good the story is. No matter how, if they break a story about sexual assault, or they break a story about the president, which is probably still sexual assault. Don't at me. Then, I'll take him more seriously to change the name. Anyway, BuzzFeed, Mark Scoffs. He's the head of the investigative reporting program at the University of Southern California. He's going to lead a global news division of about 150 people at a challenging time for digital media companies. I think there's a joke in The Other Guys, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, where the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Samuel L. Jackson are at a press conference, and they're answering questions about their latest bust or something. And then I believe, oh God, I'm gonna butcher this, but the first news reporter that stands up, he goes, he's like, this is Washington Post Digital. He's like really sad about it. And then the second reporter stands up and she goes, and I'm just going to use BuzzFeed as an example, but it's not BuzzFeed. She goes, this is BuzzFeed print edition. And it's such a funny dichotomy because, they should be switched. And I just think that's a very funny joke. Anyway, shows you where news is going. Even in 2008 when that movie came out, or 13, one of those years. 12? Hey, Google, what year did The Other Guys come out?
In the United States of America,
oh, 2010.
The Other Guys came out on August 5th, 2010.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I did not know that.
You're welcome.
I did not know that. All right, well, there you go. Mr. Scopes also worked at the Wall Street Journal, and he won a Pulitzer in 2000 for international reporting for his work at the Village Voice. Yeah, this is a tumultuous time for digital reporting for sure. And I think if they can get, this guy obviously has the credentials, and he can push them to BuzzFeed to new heights that they obviously can't reach given the stupid name. Okay, let's get moving. That feels so mean. Okay. This is comes from The Verge, written by Julia Alexander, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, and more. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Okay, so the last entire segment, it's all about CBS and Viacom. Okay, actually, let's go down to the last half of that segment. So CBS renewed basically every show. 18 shows that they renewed. This is written by Peter White and Nellie Andriva over at Deadline. CBS renews 18 series, including Freshman, FBI Most Wanted, Bob Hart's Abishola, which is probably my favorite show on the network, All Rise, and The Unicorn, my second favorite show on the network. The show has picked up All Rise, Blue Bloods, Bull, FBI Most Wanted, MacGyver, Magnum PI, NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans, SEAL Team, and SWAT. Comedies Bob Hart's Abishola, The Neighborhood, and The Unicorn. News programs 60 Minutes and 48 Hours, and reality series Undercover Boss. All shows come back for the next season. I think this broadcast season, and a lot of people are going to say this, you're going to see a lot of the same shows come back. There are not going to be a lot of cancellations because pilot season is up in the air, obviously, because now is when pilots essentially will be drafted and made, and pilot presentations will be made for production over the summer, so shows can air in the fall, in the mid-season, and in winter. But since this pandemic started, there obviously have not been any television shows or movies made. So now networks are left with the hard choice of shows that were on the bubble that didn't perform well critically, or they didn't perform well ratings wise, and they did well critically, that normally wouldn't get a chance are now going to get a chance. So that's why we have, I just heard a dog bark. That's why we have a lot of shows coming back. A show like, I don't know how well Bob Hart's Abishola did. I don't know how well The Unicorn did. I know that I watch them every single week, and if I miss them, then I watch them the next week. And truth be told, I started watching Truth Be Told, that horrible show. I started watching Bob Hart's Abishola as a farce, and then I came to enjoy it. I love it, and it's a funny show, and I miss it every single week it's not on. I also started watching The Amazing Race on Hulu, and I'm on season 5. I'm watching season 5. I started with that. And these people are crazy, and they're mean, and they're vindictive. Crazy. Oh, Evil's coming back. So are Mom and Young Sheldon. And then Survivor and The Amazing Race. Good for them. Good for CBS. And now, so what shows did they cancel? Like I said, they renewed almost everything. The shows that were canceled were The Veteran, Man with a Plan, Newcomer Tommy, Newcomer Carol Second Act, and Newcomer Broke. I did not watch a second of Broke except for the extended trailer they put out. And let me tell you, I knew that show was going to get canceled in a heartbeat. I try not to pick on comedies, on sitcoms that much. But the thing is, if you watch the trailer, it's like a condensed episode of it's like the condensed version of the pilot. All the jokes are there. You could see that show going to get canceled. But I have love for all the actors in the show. Only one I know off the top of my head is Natasha Leggero. Carol's Second Act is this show starring Patricia Heaton. And I didn't even have to look. Because I watched about 15 episodes of that show, and then I said, no. I watched like 10 episodes, and I couldn't get through it. Patricia Heaton, she plays a doctor, and she plays a nurse. She plays a young doctor. a woman who left her previous position at a job, and she goes to chase her dream to be a doctor. And now she's hanging out with all the young intern doctors who were like, in their 20s, and she's a woman in her 50s. And that's the joke. That's the joke in the entire show. Ashley Tisdale's her extremely attractive daughter, and one of the extremely attractive intern doctors, and her start dating, and it's going to go there. And very bad jokes. The acting is as if it is rehearsal. Everybody's over the top. Again, I watched this show for a very long time. And Tommy is this show starring what's her face? Oh God, I don't know. Edie Falco. I didn't have to look. Edie Falco. And she plays some type of, now this I have to look for. She plays like a cop of some sort. I don't know. They may have to play a Matt LeBlanc show. Wow, it's the only show that was on CBS that was an old one that didn't get renewed. Man, now what would Matt LeBlanc do? Friends? A Friends reunion? All right, let's move on. Now, this comes from Viacom, written by Julie Alexander. Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, and more Viacom channels are coming to YouTube TV. So, Viacom and CBS, even in their broken up state, were not willing to strike deals with the likes of Hulu or Amazon or Netflix in order to stream their shows. And then I would say a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, which is a couple, CBS struck up, deals to have Cheers, Taxi, all their classic shows on Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix. But Viacom, unless you are, I think it's Key and Peele, Nathan For You, Broad City, Inside Amy Schumer. I truly think it's just like 5 shows that are on Hulu, and then maybe some shows or other. South Park's on there, but unless you're one of those creators, because I think they have their own deals in order to have their shows on Hulu specifically. Like South Park in particular, I know they have their own deal. I think you aren't able to stream or something. You aren't able to stream their shows. But now, and then also, I'm sorry, that was a completely different thing. Viacom was also reluctant to have their networks stream on YouTube TV, on even Dish Network, on Hulu with live TV, because they didn't see the money in it, which is true. There's not. For a lot of these networks, Viacom wants more money, and you can see that when, I believe 2 years ago, they consolidated all of their networks, like the networks under one roof, wherein I mean that instead of having 10 people in charge of 2 people in charge of BET, 2 people in charge of CMTs, 2 people in charge of Comedy Central, VH1, Bravo, the rest. I think not Bravo, because that's NBC, I believe. But they brought them all under one umbrella. I did an episode of News Time about it, so I'm just digging up that information from the back of my brain. But I was horrible at math in school, so I don't know why I can do this. I can bring up stuff like that. I'm still bad at math, only when it counts. I haven't got a text in days, guys. I'm so alone. So, but now all that's over. Viacom, CBS, and their newly reformed state have decided to bring Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, and other channels to YouTube TV. Now, here's the thing. The only streaming service to have the Viacom networks was Sling. This is a huge deal because this adds more value to networks like to carriers like YouTube TV. If they strike up the same deal with Hulu with live TV, I'll jump on that right now. So Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, BET, CMT, Paramount Network, TV Land, and VH1 are all going to hit YouTube TV this summer. Other networks that ViacomCBS owns include the CBS-owned the CBS Sports Network, Pop TV, Smithsonian, and the CW. Now, those are already owned by CBS, so they have their own carriage deals. And then YouTube TV is going to have Showtime, of course. Oh, well, it will continue to have Showtime. So like I said, big deal. You want to be able to do this. Now, on the other side of that, ViacomCBS said that they wanted their own streamer, which is what every single big conglomerate is doing. We got Peacock coming in July, and then we have, before that, we have HBO Max coming. I really do hope I sound decent in this episode. We have HBO Max coming on May 27th. Why do I know this? Again, I was bad at math in school, and I'm bad at talking to humans, but I can do this just as well. This is also written by Julia Alexander from The Verge. Major CBS All Access changes coming this summer as company speeds up relaunch. So, ViacomCBS says they want their own streamer, but they already have CBS All Access and Showtime Anytime, and both of them are doing extremely well. I believe they have combined 16 million subscribers, and so if you pay for the ad-free version of CBS All Access plus Showtime Anytime, that's about $20 a year, or $20 a month. Showtime is HBO is $15. Showtime is $11.99. So I think so, or $10.99. So maybe sure you're spending like $20. Let's say $20. Okay. But the keen observer might think, how come CBS All Access can't be the streamer? And you know what? That's what ViacomCBS said. So the idea is, from CEO Bob Bakish, the changes are going to tie directly into current CBS All Access platform. The company isn't building a new version from scratch, but it'll increase the amount of content available and make major technology changes. The expanded CBS All Access, referred to as, quote, House of Brands by the company earlier this year, will add 30,000 episodes of shows from Viacom's biggest networks, including Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Comedy Central, and Smithsonian. The expansion will also see 1,000 movies from Paramount's library, including franchises like Mission Impossible, which are not available to stream, which you can only see if you buy them. And they're also not part of the Movies Anywhere service that Disney started. So if you buy them on Vudu, you can only watch them on Vudu. If you buy them on iTunes, you can only watch them on iTunes. And it sucks. If I want to watch Mission Impossible Fallout, I either got to get out the freaking Blu-ray, or I got to go to Vudu where it lands, and the Vudu app sucks. I wish I could watch it on Google Play. It means nothing to me. It's also on Hulu for free, but I like watching Blu-rays. Bakish reiterated that one of CBS All Access's biggest strength is its library, one of the largest among all media conglomerates and streaming services, and the revamped All Access will work to highlight that offering. I don't know if it's one of the largest. I believe all the stuff that Netflix has is I think it would go Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus. CBS All Access, I can scroll through everything with one flick of my thumb. And I do it pretty much weekly to find something to watch on there. Something entertaining, which there's not much. There's the Star Trek stuff. The Star Trek stuff's on Hulu and Netflix too. There's The Good Fight is on Hulu. There's the All Access shows. And Bob Hart's Abishola and The Unicorn. But I've already watched all of those episodes. I think the reason why I like The Unicorn is, I've mentioned this before. It means nothing. There's nothing, there's no stress with the show. Things just happen and it's so easy breezy. And that's what I want sometimes. Like tonight, I watched. I did watch Law and Order, but I usually watch that every night. I watched early episodes of The Simpsons. God, season 1 of The Simpsons blows. I love that show to death, and it's my favorite show of all time. Season 1 sucks, and season 2 sucks, and season 3 is all right. 4 is wonderful. It's the best season in the entire series, and it gets better from there. If you use CBS All Access, and I know you don't because I do, CBS All Access has a bunch of, they have been bolstering their offerings in the movie department and in the kids show department. Before they didn't have a lot of cartoons. Now they're getting George of the Jungle, Mr. Magoo, and some other shows. And by getting, I mean they're picking up these shows that have already previously aired. Mr. Magoo, the new Mr. Magoo, I think is an old one. Danger Mouse is an old one. That was, and by old I mean like within a couple of years. George of the Jungle's from Cartoon Network. But they're picking up shows that they already produced. It's not just content library though. Backish confirmed that CBS All Access strategy will be an emphasis on new originals being developed to compete with incoming streaming competitors like HBO Max and Peacock. Blah blah blah. They're already working very hard on this. So here's the numbers. So All Access and Showtime anytime have surpassed 13.5 million. I don't know where I got 16 million. That's up 50% year over year. Wow. That's crazy. Time and time again, I'm going to say it. It's too many streaming offerings, and obviously you don't have to watch them all, but whenever you whenever you separate things out like this, then, we already know we're a glutton for televised content. And I say that without irony because we are a glutton for televised content. Especially now in the coronavirus, during the pandemic, when Mindy, a show from Mindy Kaling, Never Have I Ever, comes out last week, and that's at the bottom of the list because, Nadia from the Great British Baking Show has a show. There's a new show from Greg Daniels called Upload, and then on Hulu's Little Fires Everywhere, and then there's still The Flash airs its season finale. It's just all these different things, and obviously you don't have to watch these things. You don't have to do this, but my feet are very warm. I should take off my socks, but it's also like 70 degrees in here and it's chilly, so I'm sweating my butt off, but I'm also cold. So, that's where we are with the televised stuff, and then the movies. And yeah, we don't know. We don't know what's going to go on. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this earlier because I was looking at a script that I had written. I've written a lot of scripts. That's not a joke. I've written a lot of scripts that I should not have written. And they're not good. They're not good or anything. I like to write them. And hopefully one day I'll sell one of them. But I was looking at them. I was looking at one, and I thought, man, I would love, not gonna lie, love to win an Emmy or a Golden Globe or both. I'd love to win one of those, or both of those. And then I thought, where would this show go? And I thought about all the cable offerings. I thought about all the broadcast offerings. I thought about all the streaming and the premium cable and the streaming. That's four different platforms, 4 different areas, and then web, obviously. No, 4 different areas. And the problem is that there's so much that even if I were to be a contender, even if I were to be on the waterfront, like Marlon Brando on the waterfront, I could have been a contender. It's a classic. Even if I were to be Marlon Brando on the waterfront, it would still be so difficult to stand out in a sea of, like, look at Netflix. There's a bunch of crap on there. Look at Amazon and Hulu. There's still a bunch of crap on there. It would be difficult to stand out. Look at like a show like Blackish. Still hasn't gotten recognized for its excellence, even though it's been nominated. Anthony Anderson, Tracee Ellis Ross have both been nominated for Emmys. But, that's one person out of 5 people. And it's hard to stand out. It's hard to say now because there's and let's take Tracy Ellis Ross. She's nominated one person out of 5 to 6 people. All right, 5 to 7 people. She's nominated, but prior to that, she was in a sea of, let's see, she's a female lead for a comedy show. So let's look at ABC by itself. There's Modern Family, The Goldbergs, American Housewife, Mixed-ish, Schooled. That's already 5 shows. Let's look at CBS, The Unicorn, Mom, Young Sheldon. Like that's already 3 more, and then we haven't even gotten to cable, then to premium, then to streaming. It's hard to stand out in all this. I'm not deterred, but I would like to. I don't know. It's tough. I still would like to sell all of my scripts. Hey, listen. If you like what you heard here, head on over to the website as I check my notifications. Head on over to the website, cbscomedy.com, where you can see interviews with your favorite comedians. People didn't even know that were comedians. Rachel Lee Goldenberg is a director for the new movie Valley Girl, starring Alicia Silverstone, Jessica Roth, some other people. It's a remake of the 70s Nicolas Cage movie. The trailer makes it look, it's a musical. It's very bright and 80s and bombastic, and it looks fun. It looks like something you could watch with your family and enjoy. And by musical, I mean they sing not current songs, but they sing already made songs, contemporary songs of the time, like Kids in America. It's not like Les Mis or anything, yeah, or The Greatest Showman, which is a horrible movie, but a wonderful vehicle for songs. And I bought it. I bought the movie because I love the songs, but gosh, that movie sucks. It's so stupid. It's not worse than Rent. I love Rent. Rent is a great musical, great music. Horrible story. So definitely just check that out. And then Dan Cummins will be coming, I don't know, next week. Who knows? If you want to see a video version of the show, if you want to see me laying down in bed, head on over to youtube.com/CBSComedy. Oh, hold on. If you also want to see an interview with, I did with Dad's Garage. It's Dad's Garage is an improv troupe studio organization, nonprofit here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I talked to their managing director and their artistic director on how the company plans on bouncing back after the pandemic. So it's a good half-hour interview. You can watch it. We did it via Zoom. You can watch it on youtube.com/CBSComedy. You can see a truncated version of that on the flagship show News Time, also on youtube.com/CBSComedy. This week, it's a weekly news show. It's like the Daily Show, except way less funny. This week, we talk about comedy theaters and improvisational theaters and comedy clubs and how they're going to bounce back post the pandemic. So definitely check it out. So this is the longest episode I've ever done of News Time. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Rate, subscribe. You can now find this podcast literally wherever you go. You can get a Radio Public, tune in. You can find this podcast anywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all of them. Seriously. I did something this week where I put them on all of them. All right, this has been going on too long. I'm done here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll feel better next week, but who knows? Probably not. Maybe this is the last episode. Okay, bye. So dumb.